Hi everyone, I'm Matt Shump, and I'll be walking you through the Softheon gateway processes. What you'll see here in front of you is a visual representation of the process. The first step being a file import process that takes the raw EDI file and imports it directly into the Softheon environment. On the application server, the file is picked up and imported into the Softheon environment. Logging into the Softheon application, we'll be able to see that same file. As we review this file, we'll notice that the file is intact, but there have been no acknowledgements generated thus far. The next step of the process is actually a front-end validation of the file. Going back to the diagram, we'll see this step here. Softheon configures a validation process for every trading partner ID that you associate with. By opening that same file, we'll now notice that in addition to the intact file that was imported before, we'll see both the 999 and the TA1 acknowledgement for this file. As a result of having it in this file, it's also been exported back to the originating entity. Back to the diagram, we'll see here that the next step is to actually parse that file into individual transactions using the Softheon EDI import process. As we open the file here from the import queue, we can notice some of the work taking place. We now see a subfolder under the EDI file folder and additional subfolders below that. The Softheon EDI import process builds out the interchange, the functional group, the transaction set, and even the member level detail for each person in that file. Once the import process completes, the EDI file folder is sent to system accept, and the remaining individualized transactions are sent to this process here, which will send to our normalization process based on the trading partner ID. You can see that there are two options for the normalization process. Any self record will actually go directly to the normalization process, while any non-self record or dependents go to the pending normalization process, where it awaits the self to be processed. We can see here that 31 are in the normalization process, while 14 dependent records are in the pending normalization process. An example of normalization is when we receive a record from an entity like the FFM. There are no dependent records on cancel or term transactions. Softheon Gateway create these transactions through its processes to ensure that our carrier systems receive the necessary member level cancels and terms that their systems need. Once normalization is finished, cases are sent to our link to parent queue. The last thing we'll look at here is a side-by-side comparison of the Softheon EDI file folder and its structures and a raw EDI file opened in a program such as Notepad++. Notice on the left the raw EDI file, and notice on the right the Softheon structure for that file. By opening the 2000 loop in a Softheon folder, we can see the members' information in a much cleaner and user-friendly format.